So the video today is more trig graphs. We're doing cosecant and secant functions today. So on your calculator, graph sine and cosecant and see what they look like. Decide what you think is similar between them, what you think is different. So you should be seeing some similarities. You should see that they have the same period. And their amplitudes are both 1. And what's different is this cosecant is going to look something like this, whereas sine looks like this. They look very different as far as the graphs go. So for cosecant, some characteristics to remember. Your period is going to be a standard 2 pi period. You're going to start with a positive u and then a negative u, and your mins and maxes are 1 and -1, or those are your amplitudes at this point. So a note here of just how to graph them or how to see them. If I sketch in a sine graph right here, it's going to come through like this. So when I graph cosecant, I always sketch in the sine graph first and then just draw my u's on the peaks and the valleys of sine, and that just makes it a lot easier for me. So an example here, if we list our period and the amplitude, your amplitude is 3, and then your period, you want to take 2 pi divided by 1/2, which will then give you 4 pi. Sorry, is your period. To graph them, put your period on the end, divide into 4 chunks like we've been doing for all of our things so far, and then you want to add on your amplitudes here. And then I always start by sketching in sine because cosecant goes with sine. So the sine would start at 0, go to the max, 0, min, and 0 again. And then to graph the cosecant, anywhere you see 0, that's going to be one of your asymptotes. So you can draw in the asymptotes. And then any peak of your sine is going to give you the right side up u. Any minimum or valley is going to give you your upside down u. And then there's your graph. So here is a graph of cosine. So without using a calculator, sketch secant with this. So how you do that would be a similar idea. We can draw our asymptotes at zeros. And then peaks become u's, valleys become upside down u's, and that would be your graph of secant. So things to remember. You can start with 2 pi as your period. So the only things that don't have a standard period of 2 pi would be tangent and cotangent. And then this is going to look the same as cosecant, except you're shifted over pi over 2 units. So we shifted this direction over. So instead of having your asymptote start here, it starts over here. Instead of having your peak be here, it's going to start here. The reason, again, being because you're basing it off of cosine. So if you sketch cosine in here, you're going to get your cosine graph. So I would recommend just graphing or sketching your cosine or sine first and then doing your cosecant or secant. Your homework is worksheet 4.5.2 on Schoology.